Hello and welcome to this special episode where we celebrate the trailblazers from the automotive industry in India and the world around us. There have been many new products and technologies entering the market, but there have been some that have really made a big impact. We are listing out the special ones, celebrating them and telling you what makes them so special. We're going to start off with one product which is making hybrids seem like a really good deal. Most Indians think of hybrids as a compromise, an appliance that has to be tolerated for the greater good of ecology and efficiency. But the Toyota Camry Hybrid shows that it doesn't always have to be a compromise. And here's how. Firstly, the Camry Hybrid isn't quirky in any obvious manner. This large saloon looks stately and pretty normal from the outside, and it's extra inviting on the inside. The Camry has something extra on every front. The petrol motor hasn't been downsized. It is still a healthy 2.5-litre engine. But it does add a couple of electric motors for an extra 44 bhp. Toyota's hybrid synergy drive is an incredibly complex system, but its advantages are really simple to understand. The Camry Hybrid uses 3 modes of propulsion. It can cruise silently in electric mode for 3 to 4 kilometers at speeds up to 50 kilometers an hour. That's using the power stored in the small 1.6 kilowatt-hour battery. The electric and petrol motors can work together as well, or the petrol engine alone can drive the front wheels. It can also top up the batteries. The result is a green car that doesn't feel dull or slow thanks to its 202 bhp of power. But Toyota claims that fuel consumption drops by 50% while emissions reduce by 30%. When you put all of this together, Toyota casts hybrids in a new light that the frugal and careful Indian car buyer can appreciate. It shows that hybrids are real cars for the real world that can lead us to a cleaner, quieter, and more welcoming environment. When you look at the big picture, India isn't quite ready for pure electric vehicles. Nonetheless, there are some people for whom the pricey EVs make absolute sense. Due to lack of encouragement from the government, there is only one electric vehicle on sale in India today, and that is the Mahindra E2O. This small hatchback has been designed ground up by the Mahindra Reva team. In its tiny footprint, the E2O packs millions of joules of electricity, and there are thousands of bits and bytes from its 10 onboard computers to make the most of every joule. Its humble 25.5 bhp electric motor is clearly focused on unhurried city duties. The E2O is a pint-sized green hero, and it promises to give you an easy 75km range on a full charge. And that is more than enough for the daily commute of most people. Now, if each and every one of them drove an EV, think of the difference it would make on pollution levels and petrol consumption. Mahindra Reva is doing everything they can to conserve the environment. In fact, their plant in Bangalore is extremely eco-friendly. Apart from using natural light, natural ventilation and recycling water, the factory also uses solar energy to cover 35% of their entire electricity needs. All in all, the E2O is a bold step towards the inevitable truth. Electric vehicles are the future. SUVs are big in India. But the one that made the loudest noise in 2013 was the smallest one to hit the market. Yes, we're talking about Ford's EcoSport. There were plenty of doubts. Would it be possible to make an SUV, even a compact one, that could compete with hatchbacks? The long wait for the EcoSport made it all the more hard to believe. But on the D-Day, Ford shocked the Indian market with a well-balanced product at a sensational price. From day one, the EcoSport has offered a strong engine lineup comprising of petrols and a diesel. Ford engineers ensured that despite its sub 4 meter length, passengers weren't going to be cramped in the cabin. So much so that the EcoSport measures an exact 3,999 millimeters. And mounting the spare wheel on the tailgate helps further. The EcoSport, despite being built on a hatchback platform, is rugged enough to inspire confidence when venturing onto highways, while its compact dimensions are apt for Indian metros. A long list of equipment and competitive pricing puts it not just in competition with hatchbacks, but some sedans too. The EcoSport is a game changer. In a diesel-mad country, Honda got along brilliantly without having an oil burner for a very long time. But when things went south, the lack of diesel power hurt them bad. Luckily, Honda's diesel motor, aimed squarely at the Indian market, was about ready to hit Indian showrooms. The 1.5-litre iD-Tech motor that debuted in the Amaze compact saloon was special. True to Honda philosophy, the motor had to be as light and as responsive as possible without compromising strength, durability, or efficiency. Many design features were combined, all of which helped to lighten, strengthen, and smoothen the motor wherever possible. As a result, the 1.5-litre diesel motor has the same friction levels as a petrol. For lightness, the engine block is made of aluminum and is of an open deck design. Even the engine oil is of the lowest viscosity possible. A fixed geometry turbo also gives the diesel motor strong responsiveness at low engine speeds. In the Amaze, Honda's Earth Dreams diesel motor provides buyers a package that combines reliability, efficiency, and strong performance in a spacious yet compact saloon. No surprise then that 70% of the Amazes sold in India till date have been diesel. The Range Rover Sport was an ambitious project for Land Rover. After all, they wanted to create the fastest, most agile, and most responsive Land Rover ever. That too, without losing the go-anywhere ability that Land Rovers are so famous for. To do so, the Sport started off on a diet of aluminium. Lots of it. The entire chassis is bonded and riveted aluminium. Despite being larger, the chassis is a whopping 39% lighter than its predecessor, and some variants are as much as 420 kilos lighter than before. Huge strides have been made to make the Sport more dynamic on the road. It gets the works: torque vectoring, air suspension with roll and ride-height control, active anti-roll bars and active dampers that adjust 500 times a second. On tarmac, this large, luxurious SUV drives pretty much like a sports car. But it is how Land Rover uses these technologies off-road that makes the Sport such a standout machine. For instance, the Sport uses torque vectoring to steer better in slippery conditions such as icy roads. The SUV detects when it has waded into a stream and extends the air suspension all the way to get whatever traction possible. It has a wading depth of 850 millimeters and even has sensors to tell you the depth of the water. While most cars have reversing cameras, the Sport has 5 to help it out on the road and off it. All the while, the Sport offers a level of luxury and features that wouldn't disappoint a queen. Basically, the Range Rover Sport is quite possibly the most versatile Range Rover yet. Even by Porsche's lofty standards, the Cayman is a special machine. This low-slung, mid-engined, rear-wheel drive machine is designed to give driving enthusiasts goosebumps. In its second generation, the Cayman has made extensive use of aluminium to save weight. As a result, its chassis is lighter by 25 kilos. Meanwhile, high-strength steel is used to give it the necessary rigidity. So, despite having grown bigger and more spacious, the Cayman has hardly put on any kilos. Porsche has also honed the chassis to improve the one aspect of the Cayman that makes it extraordinary: its handling. The Cayman boasts of a wider track, while the flat six motor is mounted low down to drop the center of gravity even further. Its new and efficiency-aiding electric steering lets you immerse yourself in every corner. The smooth and rev-happy flat six motor screams through the revs and makes your spine tingle. The quick-acting dual-clutch box rips through ratios. Whether you tick the options or not, such as adaptive suspension, limited slip differential, and torque vectoring, it doesn't matter, because a drive in the Cayman is a sublime experience. The balance of power and dynamic ability, of finesse and aggression, converge beautifully in the Cayman. Quite simply, it is Porsche's finest.
Sync, please say a command.
We can't imagine going anywhere without our cell phones today, can we? Integrating handheld devices into passenger cars is a challenge facing every manufacturer. Ford's Sync system tries to do just that in the easiest manner possible without compromising on safety. Once paired, the Sync system lets you use basic phone functions like making calls or controlling the music that's playing by using your voice.
Play next track.
And the Sync system can even read out SMSs that you receive.
Hi, it's Tom. Call back when you can.
Another big plus of the Sync is that it can automatically dial emergency services in case of an accident. The fact that this system is being offered by Ford on their mass market lineup is what makes it truly special. Power to the people. When Ford launched the EcoSport, one of their trump cards was hidden under the hood. Their cutting-edge 1-liter EcoBoost engine. Small, light, green, and yet punchy to drive. The EcoBoost had a lot of bases to cover. Ford sent their very best engineers to work on the EcoBoost to get the desired results. The results are truly astounding. Its size is so compact that the motor's head is small enough to fit on a sheet of A4 paper. This 3-cylinder motor also has 25% fewer parts and uses many technologies to shave friction and boost performance. The piston rings and crankshaft have been optimized for size and weight. Engineers have done away with counterbalancer shafts by tuning the pulley and flywheel to get the same level of smoothness. Then there are many technologies that improve efficiency and performance. The direct injection system precisely doses fuel many times per stroke, and the variable valve timing charges cylinders perfectly. It has a split cooling system that cools only the required areas. It has an integrated and water-cooled exhaust manifold that helps cool down the exhaust gases. The camshaft belt is bathed in oil to reduce friction and improve refinement. This small motor also packs a variable pressure oil pump to feed the oil as required. The end result of all these measures is a small and compact 1-liter motor that delivers 123 bhp of power, which means it can rival a 1.4 or a 1.6-liter naturally aspirated motor. But at the same time, it can cut back on emissions and fuel consumption significantly. The EcoBoost is a win-win. Hyundai's well-established fleet of small hatchbacks like the Santro, i10 and Eon are all offered only with petrol motors. But there's no doubt that the addition of a small displacement diesel motor for the Indian market would put Hyundai in a sweet spot. Which is why, as they got ready to unleash their 5th hatchback for India, the Grand i10, Hyundai had readied a 1120cc 70 bhp diesel motor to go with it. This diesel engine from Hyundai is derived from the 1.4-litre CRDI motor that we've seen in the i20. Only it has one cylinder chopped off. But that was only the beginning. To hit the bullseye, the motor needed to deliver smooth performance and strong efficiency. The resulting U2 diesel motor uses a common rail system that injects fuel at 1800 bar. To further improve responsiveness and efficiency, the turbocharger has been integrated into the exhaust manifold. The U2 diesel motor's fairly linear power delivery and strong fuel efficiency help it complement the smart and sensible Hyundai Grand i10. In case you haven't noticed, the number of ratios in gearboxes are going up, drastically so in automatic gearboxes. The reason is simple. It helps manufacturers meet stricter emissions and fuel efficiency norms. Advances in every sphere help reduce emissions and improve performance. However, the number of ratios in a gearbox provides a straightforward fix, as it brings a wider spread of ratios to multiply an engine's strengths. But adding more ratios is difficult to engineer and even more difficult to package. However, ZF has developed a new 9-speed gearbox, which seems to have all the bases covered. One of its strengths is that this gearbox fits into the same amount of space as a 6-speed gearbox. And though it is marginally longer, it weighs considerably less. You really can't imagine how complex it is on the inside. The gearbox uses a nested planetary gear set with 9 speeds, 4 simple gear sets and 6 shift elements. There are 2 multi-disc clutches, 2 multi-disc brakes, and the real innovation, 2 dog clutches. These help reduce drag loss and allow for the compact design. This gearbox also has a new compact hydraulic vane type pump. It also packages a torque converter to reduce vibration for more comfortable starting and shifting. This transmission is offered in 2 forms, capable of handling up to 280 Nm or 480 Nm of torque. The increased gear ratios of the 9 HP mean that cruising is possible at low engine speeds. As a result, a vehicle can be 16% more efficient. And of course, you also get the benefit of smoother shifts and better acceleration. And that's job done. The Bajaj and KTM pairing has revolutionized performance biking in India. The second of the KTM offerings for India, the 390 Duke, is a landmark motorcycle. Sure, it packs a massive 43.5 bhp of power from its 373.2cc single-cylinder motor. And everything about the Duke is top-notch. There is the stiff yet light trellis frame, there's a beautiful cast alloy swing arm, and there's ultra-capable suspension from WP. The 390 Duke is also the first production motorcycle to offer ABS as standard in India. But what makes it such a benchmark motorcycle is its price tag, which is just under 2 lakh rupees. This price would be unthinkable for a motorcycle with such specs and performance. However, Bajaj and KTM have managed it thanks to their common platform. This platform is shared amongst 3 motorcycles: the export market only 125 Duke, the 200 Duke, and now the 390 Duke. By sharing components amongst 3 motorcycles, and with many more to come on this platform, Bajaj and KTM have been able to price the bikes very aggressively. The 390 Duke ends up feeling a little bit extra special because this motorcycle is made exclusively in India and exported to the rest of the world. Not too long ago, Royal Enfield's old-fashioned motorcycles were famous for breaking down and leaving oil stains. Today, Royal Enfields are known for being classically cool. Products such as the Classic and Thunderbird, backed by the unit construction engine, have triggered a renaissance for Royal Enfield in India. And the company is taking the game to the next level. To do so, they started right at the heart of the matter, their factory. After nearly 60 years in India, Royal Enfield has set up a second plant. It is a spanking new facility at Orgaram that can make any engineer's heart warm. It is streamlined, efficient, and packed with the latest equipment and uses the best practices from across the world. But the craftsmanship that makes Royal Enfield so evocative remains unchanged. With the modern plant and increased capacity, Royal Enfield launched their next salvo, the Continental GT. This modern retro machine has huge appeal and speaks volumes for the improvement in quality, fit and finish. The Continental GT may look like a motorcycle from the 60s, but it is quite modern. It uses a precision welded double cradle frame which has been designed in the UK. It has aluminum alloy spoke rims, Pirelli shock absorbers and Brembo brakes from Italy. And then it gets Pirelli tires from Brazil. With this beautifully kitted motorcycle, Royal Enfield is aiming for a global audience. So much so that the Continental GT was first launched in UK and Europe to rave reviews. This was followed by a much anticipated launch in India. This evocative leisure motorcycle has been priced attractively for its home market too. The Continental GT is sure to carve a suave image for the new Royal Enfield. For somebody like me, driving these new cars, new bikes, experiencing the new technologies that are behind them just makes my year. And imagine 2013 was supposed to be a slow year. Can you imagine what Indians will get to sample over the next couple of years? I'm just looking forward to the trailblazers of the future.